Did you know that Lucifer and Satan are not the same being? This confusion has led to major misunderstandings in spiritual teachings. Today we're uncovering the real difference between Lucifer and Satan and why it's crucial for your spiritual journey. So stay with me until the end to understand how these forces impact your path. Many spiritual seekers struggle because they follow rigid systems that don't align with their true nature. They attempt practices that create imbalance rather than transformation. But true spirituality is about harmonizing the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And once you understand how the different energies affect your soul, you'll be able to navigate your path with ease and clarity, avoiding spiritual turmoil and setbacks. And in this video, I'll show you how to recognize the archetypes of Lucifer and Satan. This can help you find balance and protect your spiritual journey. I used to believe that all spiritual paths led to the same truth. I thought that any practice, any initiation, would guide me towards enlightenment. But I learned the hard way that this is not so. I underwent an initiation that completely disrupted my life, leaving me in a state of psychological and energetic chaos. It took me years to understand that the initiation had strengthened an energy I was already dominant in, creating imbalance instead of an awakening. And through my studies, I discovered that different paths emphasize different energies. Some cultivate love, compassion, and emotion, while others foster peace, clarity, and intellectual structure. These energies are opposites that must work in harmony, and if misaligned, they don't just create personal suffering, they ripple outward, affecting everyone around us. So let's take a look at the 4 paths of spiritual energy. We begin with the ancient spiritual systems, and they believe that each person is born with a dominant energy, either divine masculine or divine feminine. In the past, this was assumed based on gender, that boys were naturally endowed with the divine masculine, and girls were naturally endowed with the divine feminine. But today we recognize that it's more accurate to determine the spiritual path by cognitive function. And I'm using that simpler, old-fashioned definition of the feminine right brain, which is creative, or the masculine left brain, which is considered intellectual. The energy system of the soul can be described in a 4-square model. The vertical axis represents the dominant energy of each person, and it's denoted by the small letters, while the horizontal axis represents the divine energies that will be initiated or strengthened, and they are denoted by the capital letters. When we fill in the boxes with the personal dominant energies, we see that all the small letters representing the masculine are on the top row, and all the feminine are on the bottom row. Then we add the divine energies. The completed matrix reveals that there are 2 balanced paths and 2 unbalanced paths. And as we look at the chart, we see in the upper left the unbalanced masculine, pure intellect, power, and self-interest without empathy. In the upper right, we see a balanced energies, a logical mind learning to open to the heart. In the bottom left, we again see balanced energies, but this time it is the creative and caring heart learning to focus the mind. And the bottom right is the unbalanced feminine, pure emotion, chaos, and destruction without reason. When we add the titles, we see the 4 journeys. We see the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, Lucifer, and Satan. And here is the key takeaway. Divine masculine plus divine feminine equals balance, and this leads to transformation and spiritual growth. Understanding this model helps us navigate our spiritual path safely. The balanced paths are the hero's journey and the heroine's journey, while the unbalanced paths are Lucifer and Satan. So let's dive deeper into Lucifer, who is the unbalanced divine masculine. The archetype of Lucifer represents the mind without the heart. Ancient wisdom teaches that intellect alone, when it's disconnected from compassion, becomes destructive. This is the evil king archetype, power for power's sake, control without compassionate wisdom. And when the divine masculine is unbalanced, It manifests as narcissism and superiority, a desire for dominance, cold rationality with no emotional depth. And this isn't just mythology, it's a warning. It shows us what happens when intellect is used without love. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, an unchecked divine feminine can become pure, unrestrained destruction. This is where the archetype of Satan appears, not as a ruler, but as raw, chaotic energy that consumes everything in its path. Now, throughout history, the goddesses of rage, like Kali, Sekhmet, and Pele, have embodied this force. When divine feminine energy is out of control, it manifests as overwhelming emotion without grounding, destruction without renewal, and chaos that burns everything, including itself. Historically, this theme is reflected in the story of Boudica, who led a revolt against the Roman army, but was ultimately defeated by the legion's logic-based strategy. There are many ways that imbalance can manifest. A lack of boundaries, giving endlessly without receiving in return, is one of the signs of an unbalanced divine feminine. Just as intellect without heart leads to tyranny, emotion without boundaries and focus leads to chaos and destruction. The key to safe spiritual growth is balancing these energies. And if you undergo an initiation or practice that strengthens the same energy that you already have dominant in your system, it can create severe imbalance. So let's recap. Lucifer and Satan represent the dangers of unchecked and unbalanced energy. Lucifer symbolizes the unbalanced divine masculine. It's pure intellect, devoid of heart. It can lead to emotional detachment, superiority, and the illusion that logic alone is enlightenment. While Satan symbolizes the unbalanced divine feminine, chaotic emotions, overwhelming intuition without any kind of structure, and leading to confusion and loss of self. Now, ancient civilizations were so afraid of these imbalances that they required everyone to be married as a precautionary measure. By recognizing these archetypes, we can discern which spiritual paths or initiations will bring balance and which will lead to dysfunction. So have you ever experienced an energetic shift that felt overwhelming or ungrounded? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've navigated these energies. And if this is resonating with you, hit the like button and help this message reach more seekers like you. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all spiritual system. While no religion is inherently harmful, some spiritual practices may not be aligned with your unique nature. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about your personal alignment. You must become your own spiritual advocate, ensuring that teachings you follow and the practices you perform support your balance rather than disrupt it. So let's go back and use the chart to help determine which spiritual path that's right for you. Start by identifying whether you are a feminine, right-brained, creative personality or a masculine, left-brained, intellectual type. If you're right-brained, you'd begin with the small letter F. And if you're left-brained, you would begin with the small letter M. Next, move to the square that contains the balanced energies. And from there, go straight up to identify which energy needs to be initiated or strengthened in order to bring balance to your soul. It's really that simple. Now that you understand the importance of harmonizing your energies, I encourage you to reflect on your spiritual path. Are you reinforcing an existing energy imbalance, or are you working towards equilibrium? Keep a journal, observe your energetic shifts, and be intentional with your practices. I want to thank you for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more insights. And join me, Misha Alye, as we explore the history, the mystery, and the science of the chakras right here on Ashni Spiritual Living. Now, for those of you who want to go deeper, check out my book, The Basics of Mysticism. It's available on Amazon. And stay tuned for my upcoming book, Navigating the Chakras, is coming in September of 2025.